Hey guys, Sonic Smash Bros. Here, and finally, King of Games for Speed Duel and Duel Links this month is done. This took quite a while with both the KC kept going on and a bunch of stuff, like, personally on my end, that is still going on as of right now, which is why this took so long to get to. But anyway, Red Eyes. When we got the Joey Wheeler alt style with the new skill, we thought this was going to be a massive problem, and it still very much is. It warped the format, alright. Well, Red Eyes Dark Dragoon definitely warped the format, that's for sure, but we'll get to that later. But, more importantly, the skill had next to no restrictions. Yeah, the Red Eyes card count had to be really high, but other than that, that's it. So, people were doing a bunch of different variations, like Horus to now abuse the Tachyon engine, or Branded, Invoked, Chimera, which I would argue is currently the best version. But no one thought to try anything Synchro. And of course, you know me, you know I had to try something here. So I need this small but compact Synchro package that could actually do something really well while still offering a good toolbox. Guess what happened to fit the bill? Ladies and gentlemen, this is Red Eyes Assault Mode. Let's take a look at it with the skill of choice for this version of the build, Red Eyes Armament. You can use the skill's first and second effects once per duel if your main deck contains a total of 15 or more Red Eyes cards and or Lord of the Red in combination. First effect, reveal one Red Eyes Black Dragon, Lord of the Red, or Red Eyes Transmigration from your hand, and add one Lord of the Red or Red Eyes Transmigration from deck to hand. Then you can also add one more Red Eyes card from deck to hand on top of that. Second effect, if you control a Red Eyes monster, or if your opponent controls a monster, add Dark Magician, Red Eyes Black Flare Dragon, Red Eyes Archfiend of Lightning, Meteor Black Dragon, Red Eyes Impact, or is it Meteor Dragon, Red Eyes Impact? I was thinking of Black Meteor Dragon. Or, Gearfried the Red Eyes Iron Knight from outside of your deck to your hand. Send the rest to the graveyard, then add one Polymerization from outside of your deck to your hand. I am not going to read any of these five, because I'll be honest with you here, you only ever grab Dark Magician. These four are constantly being sent to the graveyard 100% of the time. If you are doing anything else, you are throwing. But I will read off Polymerization anyway. Fusion summon one fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion materials. Anyway, let's get on to the deck proper with triple Lord of the Red. You can virtual summon this card by Red Eyes Transmigration, and once per turn during either player's turn, when a card or effect is activated, except for Lord of the Red, you can activate one of the following two effects. Either target one monster on the field and destroy it, or target a spell or trap card on the field and destroy it. You can use both in the same turn, keep that in mind. And it's not a hard once per turn on each effect, so if you have multiple Lord of the Reds, that's multiple monster pops, that's multiple back row pops, it's all good stuff. Stardust Dragon Assault Mode. Cannot be normal summoned or set, must first be special summoned with Assault Mode activate, and cannot be special summoned by other ways except by its own effect. When a card or effect is activated, quick effect, you contribute this card, negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card. During the end phase, when this activated successfully, you can special summon it from your graveyard. When this card in the field is destroyed, you can target one Stardust Dragon in your graveyard and special summon that target. We have Red Eyes Black Meteor Dragon. This is what I was thinking of earlier. You can send one level 5 or higher normal monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard, special summon this card from your hand, then increase its level by 1. During your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, add one Red Eyes Fusion from deck or graveyard to hand. Each effect is once per turn. We're never adding Red Eyes Fusion because we don't play Red Eyes Fusion. We really don't need to, and Red Eyes Fusion honestly is just a bad card anyway. Red Eyes Wyvern. I'd love to cut this, but we can't unfortunately, but it still has its moments. Once per turn during your end phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard and target one Red Eyes monster in your graveyard, special summon that target. You cannot normal summon or set during the turn you activate this effect. Kumungus the Sticky String Kaiju. 3 of these. We need Kaijus, unfortunately. You can special summon this card from your hand to your opponent's field in attack position by attributing one monster they control. If your opponent controls a Kaiju monster, you can special summon this card from your hand in attack position. You can only control one Kaiju at any time. When your opponent normal or special summons a monster, you can remove 2 Kaiju counters from anywhere on the field until the end of this turn, and the next turn, that monster cannot attack and the effects are negated. If it's a pendulum summon, every monster that was pendulum summoned cannot attack, and their effects are negated. So yeah, we need Kaijus, unfortunately. I'll go over Assault Sentinel in a moment, because, yeah, Tachyon. It's making unaffected Hope Harbinger through Tachyon Spiral Galaxy, which I swear to you is always glued to their hand. They always somehow manage to have it, even in a 30-card deck. It is ridiculous. To combine with that, you also have Dark Dragoon being used in other stuff, notably Branded. We'll get to that later. There's just so much stuff we can't normally get over, and sometimes bodies are just a little bit too big. That's where the Kaijus come in. And there's something really funny we can do with this too. Now you may be wondering, why am I playing the Insect Kaiju? It's a level 7. So you have basically no means of helping out Starlight Drive. And it's not a light or a dark monster, so Branded can't make use of it with Branded Fusion, Branded in Red, whatever. I would rather help out B-Trooper by keeping their full Insect board than give either Branded or Starlight Drive anything. Does that make sense? Plus, why not Lava Golem? Well, we need our normal summon for our Assault Mode stuff. Just saying. Speaking of which, Triple Assault Sentinel. You can tribute this card, special summon 1 monster from your hand or deck that specifically lists Assault Mode activate in its text, except for Assault Sentinel. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn, except for Synchro monsters. You can target one face-up monster you control, reveal 1 Synchro monster in your extra deck, and if you do, the targeted monster's type and attribute becomes the same as the revealed monsters until the end of this turn. Each effect is once per turn. This is just here to get us to our Triple Side Reflector. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add an Assault Mode activate or a card that mentions it specifically in its text from deck to hand, except for Side Reflector. You can reveal 1 Assault Mode activate in your hand, then target 1 monster in your graveyard that specifically lists that card in its text, except for, again, Side Reflector, and special summon it. And if you do, increase its level by 1 to 4. Each effect is once per turn. We have the Assault Beast. You can discard this card to the graveyard to add Assault Mode activate from deck to hand. Simple as that. And Triple Red Eyes Black Dragon. This is mainly just here for the skill. It's a normal monster we can dump for Black Meteor Dragon. It's something we can occasionally search for going second to make Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. We'll get to him a little bit later, that mistake that he is. And yes, I did animate at least the Red Eyes Black Dragon because I may hate Dragoon, but Red Eyes Black Dragon itself, come on, this looks sick. Anyway, on to spells and traps, starting with Triple Red Eyes Transmigration. This card is used to ritual summon Lord of the Red. You must also tribute monsters from your hand or field and or banish Red Eyes monsters from your graveyard whose total level is equal to 8 or more. Triple Fire Formation Tanky. When this card is activated, you can add 1 level 4 or lower Beast Warrior type monster from deck to hand. All Beast Warrior type monsters you control gain 100 attack points, and you can only activate 1 Fire Formation Tanky per turn. So, this is mainly to get us to our Assault Sentinel. Simple as that. Triple Red Eyes Insight. Send 1 Red Eyes monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard, add 1 Red Eyes spell or trap card from deck to hand, except for Insight, you can only activate 1 Red Eyes Insight per turn. Simple as that. And now, Assault Mode Activate. Tribute 1 Synchro monster, special summon 1 Assault Mode monster whose name includes the attributed monster's name from your deck and attack position. And Red Eyes Spirit. Target a Red Eyes monster in your graveyard, special summon it. I wish we could cut this. Again, I wish we could cut this. I wish we could cut Wyvern, but due to the skill restriction, we can't. Because Red Eyes Spirit, I just find every time I see it, I'd rather see anything else, and the few times where it would come up, it's not going to matter because they have ways to get around Dragoon anyway. Speaking of which, on to the extra deck with one of my most hated fusions of all time. One of my most hated cards of all time. It's no Fall on the Valbaz, but it's definitely close. Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. You're about to learn why. Requiring Dark Magician and Red Eyes Black Dragon, or any Dragon Effect monster, I don't understand why it's not just Dark Magician and Red Eyes Black Dragon, cannot be destroyed by card effects. Neither player can target this card with card effects at all. During your main phase, you can destroy 1 monster your opponent controls, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to half of that monster's original attack points. Bear in mind, that was eroded for Duel Links. In the actual game, it's the full original attack points. You can use this effect a number of times per turn, up to the number of normal monsters used as fusion material for this card, and once per turn, when a card or effect is activated, quick effect, you can discard 1 card, negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card, and if you do that, this card also gains 1,000 attack points, and that's permanent! What were they thinking? Like, what were they thinking? What were they thinking? What were they thinking? Why is this a thing? Anyway, on to the Synchro side of things. Starting with Excel Synchro, Stardust Dragon. If this card is Synchro summoned, you can special summon a level 2 or lower tutor monster from your graveyard and during the main phase. Quick effect, you can tribute this card, special summon a Stardust Dragon from your action deck, treat it as a Synchro summon, then immediately after this effect resolves, Synchro summon using monsters you control as Synchro material. For the rest of this turn, the monsters Synchro summoned by this effect, including the Stardust Dragon, are unaffected by your opponent's activated effects. Each effect is once per turn. Draco, Berserker Batenyi. When your opponent activates a monster by quick effect, you can banish it. If this attacking card destroys an effect monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, this card gains attack points equal to the destroyed monster's original attack points. Also, it can make a second attack on a monster during this battle phase. Each effect is once per turn. The Stardust Dragon is up next. During either player's turn, when a card or effect is activated with a destroy card or cards in the field, you tribute this card, negate the activation. If you do destroy that card, during the end phase of this activated successfully, you can special summon it in your graveyard. Very much the classic. Speaking of good alt arts, because I will say this, you're not Yusei, so you're not worthy of the original artwork. Speaking of good alt arts though, Black Rose Dragon! When this card is Synchro summoned, you can destroy all cards in the field. Once per turn, you can banish one plant-type monster from your graveyard and target one defense position monster your opponent controls, change that target to face-up attack position, and if you do, its attack points become 0 until the end of this turn. So sometimes the full board wipe does come up, and something funny you can do. Unaffected Black Rose Dragon full board wipe. Chain Assault Mode activate. Get out Stardust Dragon Assault Mode. That gets blown up along with everything else, but Stardust Dragon comes back anyway. So you still have destruction protection at the minimum, on top of everything else you've already done to get rid of a full board. Or, you can use this going second to try to force interactions. Formula Athlete Dawn Dragster. Gains attack points equal to its level times 300. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. Each time a Formula Athlete spell or trap card is activated, or one of their effects, you can increase this card's level by 1. Once per turn when your opponent activates a spell or trap card or a spell trap effect, quick effect, you can reduce this card's level by 2. If you do, negate the activation. If you do that, destroy that card. The Cyber Quantum Dragon. While you control a Link monster, monsters your opponent controls cannot target monsters you control for attacks except for this one. Also, your opponent cannot target monsters you control with card effects except for this one. Once per turn at the start of the damage step, if this card battles an opponent's monster, you can return that opponent's monster to the hand. Also, this card can make a second attack in a row. Really, really good. Anyway, Black Rose Moonlight Dragon. If this card is special summoned or a level 5 or higher monster is special summoned to your opponent's side of the field, target one special summoned monster your opponent controls and return that target to the hand. This effect is once per turn. Lastly, Adamancipated Horizon Raptite. During your main phase, you can activate top 5 cards in your deck. If you do, you can add a special summon rather. An activated rock monster in defense position, place the rest of the bottom of the deck in any order. We don't care about that, that's why I kind of tripped over that, because I never bothered to remember that. It's only here for one reason. During your opponent's turn, if a wind monster is in your graveyard, quick effect, you can target one card in your opponent's graveyard and banish it. Each effect is once per turn. So, banishing a card from the opponent's graveyard. That stops Branded in red without negating it directly, so they can't activate another one on the same turn. Think about this for a second. What qualifies for our wind monster for this? Red Eyes Wyvern and Excel Synchro Stardust Dragon. Unfortunately, every single time this has actually come up, I kid you not, I have literally been in this position so many times, they always have Droplet, they always have Eclipse, they always have some means of just stopping you for no reason. So annoying. So if you want to cut this for Clearwing Synchro Dragon, or if you don't have Formula Athlete Dawn Dragster but you want to play Clearwing Synchro Dragon in its place, go right ahead. It's a good option, just not one I play personally. Anyway, that is it for the deck. Let's finally get on to the replays. Right over here. Will you actually move? Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you here. I didn't bother counting the amount of attempts this took. And honestly, I did not care. Lately, I've just been kind of burning myself out with so much other stuff I have to do. Both, like, in-game and, like, real-life shenanigans. On top of the fact that I was just constantly running into Branded, running into Tachyon, running into cases where it's like, could you please just give me my starters, my red-eye starters, and not my third fire formation tanky off the top going second. You already drew me into two of them. Why are you giving me the third?
Make you my puppet wheeler. Duel. Get ready.
And even now we got Branded. If I'm gonna sound a bit malicious toward this, it's because we're all sick of Despia. We're all sick of Branded. And I'm personally just sick of everything related to Albaz. Even when it really shouldn't be related to Albaz whatsoever. Looking at you, Sword Soul. Yeah, get your bloody brain-dead fusion. Nobody cares. Oh yeah, Light Hex Seal Fusion! That basically is a wild card that they can use. Guess what else this thing can also abuse, even though it really shouldn't be able to? Since that can be substituted for Dark Magician... Yeah! Do I need to explain any more than that? Oh, and by the way... He did that horribly wrong, by the way. Tax Dragon on top of that, aka Masquerade the Blazing Dragon, but really, it's just Tax Dragon. Searchable, settable, counter trap from the deck! If you can't tell, I am sick and tired of freaking Albaz. Everything Albaz. Not even just Branded, just everything Albaz. I want this gone.
You want to do that? This is the card I set.
We'll just casually do this. Kaijus, yeah, cool story, bro. Nobody cares.
I activate my monster's effect.
Yay, Despian comedy. Nobody cares.
Ritual summon.
Let's just blow up that back row.
Fusion summon.
Okay, to give Dragoon credit on something, why did they go so hard with the summon animation? That looks gorgeous! Like, the design is great, the summon animation is great! Dragoon as a card is where I have so many problems. Go right ahead, Kaijus yourself. I don't care. Brain dead opening? Yeah, we don't care, buddy. And that's just gonna be your undoing. Goodbye. Anyway, if you thought we were done with this, think again. We have yet another Branded. For the record, yeah, people wonder why I say Albaz was one of Yu-Gi-Oh's biggest mistakes. And to think I was originally cooking Starlight Drive with Sword Soul, only to not have to do that anymore, and I just immediately dropped that in a heartbeat.
Step right up so I can knock you down.
I only allow the duel.
Yeah, whatever. Just do your thing. I don't care anymore. Just search your damn Aluber, search your Brain Dead Fusion, and do whatever you please. Because nobody cares anymore.
My monster's effect activates.
We're all sick of this.
From my hand, I hope you're ready.
Yeah, make your Dragoon. I don't care anymore. Just cheat out Dragoon like the little bastard you are.
summon a monster from my hand.
Leader of the Brain Dead, make your freaking tax dragon, set your Branded in red, or your damn counter trap, or whatever.
I set a card face down.
That being all there is to it is just kind of pathetic, just saying. So, I have an idea.
I ritual summon a monster. I tribute.
Go for the tanky.
Lord of the Red is using his effect. He destroys.
Single-minded fool.
Check out the
Pitch your ad libitum, nobody cares. Pitch your Veiler, nobody cares.
Monster's effect activates.
fusion summon. Red Eyes Dark Dragoon.
And here we go.
I activate Red Eyes Dark Dragoon.
You may have put me down to 400 life points, but that's all I needed.
Special
I
summon a monster.
anticipated that, of course. Let the fun begin.
I activate Red
Yeah,
Eyes
go
Dark
right ahead, do it again. I don't care.
Come. My monster's effect activates. My monster's effect activates. My monster's effect.
And so now we pivot into the assault mode plays.
All right. I activate Red Eyes Black Meteor Red Eyes.
By the way, I have no intention on stopping that Brain Dead in red. Yeah, I will forever call it Brain Dead because that's just what it is.
Let's do this. My monster's effect activates.
And I'm just casually gonna make an unaffected Draco.
Synchro summon a monster. Here we come. Synchro summon.
Just
Because if he makes Quaritus at this point, it's too late for me to care.
over my face down card. I activate a quick play spell.
Let's battle. Luck.
And I was really banking on Nibiru, so,
Effect activates. Lights out.
yeah.
Red Eyes Dark Dragoon.
Get
Do your thing.
out of here! And please let the ban list actually kill this for good this time. Like, do not let it be spared. Show no mercy.
Game.
Yeah.
Yes, we got the creepy chin. Let's go. We got the iconic creepy chin. Let's go. Oh, man. Okay, finally my mood will be a little bit better because, we're done with Branded. Unfortunately, we have Adina Tachyon Stud. Well, Tachyon, but it's just using Horus as an engine to get the Tachyon stuff. And what do I mean by stun? Triple Lava Golem, triple Nib, triple Imperm in a 20-card deck. So almost half the deck is Disruption.
Princess Adina. Wait. Whoa. Mokuba.
When I say I do anything for Seto,
Amusingly, I got these exact two lines in the original recording. The reason I scrapped that, by the way, is I just wasn't satisfied with that take. I wanted to redo this. So, with a little more energy, here we go. Yeah, get your free draw too, whatever. Fossil Fusion's in there for some reason. I don't get why the fossils are here. More Horus! Bro, did you really just draw all three of your Imperms?
Motor running. Check out.
So I have to play this a little bit differently from usual.
You ain't ready for this. I activate my ritual spell called Ritual Summon.
So we'll go Lord of the Red first.
Okay. My monster's a Lord of the Red is using his effect. He destroys a cup. Check out the Lord of the Red.
Yeah, let's just get that out of here.
Magical power. Destroy a monster.
Now's my chance. I activate my monsters.
Puts back two Imperms. Which means that's probably the third, knowing my luck.
Monster's effect activates.
Go for the Assault Mode Activate, and I'm just gonna grab Formula Athlete Dawn Dragster out. This thing is actually gonna help me here. I kinda wish this wasn't paywalled, because this is such a good generic level 7 Synchro. And now we can safely poly. We'll just negate that, and then Lord of the Red can blow up the other Horus. Nice try, buddy, but that's an Omni negate on field.
You really look like Princess Adina, Your Highness.
Nice troll there, Joey. Anyway. But then again, that's what he gets for playing such a stun-heavy build. Anyway, next up we get a game that really shouldn't have been as close as it was. I kind of screwed up later on, but... yeah, Barry and Shark.
A true duel.
Here we go. So going first, we do have the full Stardust Assault Mode line. And since we're dealing with Rank Up Magic the 7th one, I'm going to show that off here. We got Black Meteor Dragon, we do all the usual stuff to get polymerization, but instead, we fuse the Dragon Effect monster or the Red Eyes Black Dragon from hand. Do not be afraid to give up Lord of the Red if you absolutely have to. This will make us safe from at least one hand trap, and if you have Assault Sentinel outright, you're completely immune to Draw and Lockbird in this combo. So you're going to want to do it this way. Go ahead and make this a level 6, and we'll Synchro summon Excel Synchro Stardust Dragon. That will cause us to bring back the Psy Reflector, and we'll be all set to go. Set the Assault Mode Activate just in case.
My turn. With the true power of the berries.
And here comes Rank Up Magic the 7th one, so this is how we stop it cold without using up a negate. This means we can hold the Red Eyes Dark Dragoon negate in case they want to chain Droplet to it.
I draw. This will show the true power of the berries.
So upon activating 7th one, immediately use Excel Synchro Stardust's effect.
Alright. Synchro summon. Here we come. Synchro summon.
And we'll make Black Rose Moonlight Dragon.
I see summon a monster. Here's K. Hold up. My monster Umbral Horror Masquerade's effect activate. Ah, sweet.
Let's not and say we did.
Activate my face. Here we come. I special summon a monster.
I love doing that. Oh man. Anyway. But if you thought we were done, think again. Abyss Shark is such a good extender, I cannot let that hit the field.
I activate my monsters. Watch this. Show yourself. I see summon a monster. Watch this.
And full armored Crystal Zero Lancer.
I activate my monster. I activate Red Eyes Dark Dragoon.
Forced to negate that.
Abyss Shark.
And he had plenty of ways to go into Nash Knight anyway. But this is where things get stupid. Realistically, I should have just outright lost here.
Rescue the souls of the forgotten. Appear.
I should have lost here. I just straight up should have lost here.
Knight's effect. Call the asylum of the soul.
But he goes for Black Rose Moonlight Dragon when it's unaffected?
Save the
Why would you not go for Dragoon when this is your only activate?
I built the overlay network.
And then I learned the hard way that negating Abyss Shark doesn't apply the water lock because the effect never fully went through. So that means... yeah, this is about to happen.
For Chaos number 107, Neo Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon. I activate my mind.
And so he goes for the draw 1.
Time to battle. Ready, Bazaar? Neo, take this. I attack with my monster.
Alright.
I end my turn.
And in situations like this is where the Kaijus come into play.
Special
I don't know why I sat here. Literally, all I had to do was burn the last of the overlay units on Full Armored Crystal Zero Lancer, and then I could use freaking... wait, did I not have Wyvern Engrave? I don't think I have Wyvern Engrave now that I think about it.
I'm ending my
I draw Dream Shark.
Yeah, no I didn't. Otherwise I absolutely could have just, you know,
Activates its effect.
used Wyvern to bring back Dragoon.
activates.
So yeah, this was just safer.
Time to battle. I'll break you down. Attack.
Hold up.
So this is just unnecessarily close. I just need one decent-sized monster and it's over.
Joey Wheeler, I draw. You ain't ready for this.
And then Lord of the Red off the top.
Ritual summon. Let's
And with that, Dream Shark's own battle destruction protection is gonna work against him here.
lights out. Get ready, Lord of the Red.
That should not have gone the way it did.
This can't be what destiny chose for me.
I won because
Yeah, either way, I'll take it. Considering all the attempts that got ruined by Branded, ruined by the occasional Tachyon, ruined by me just somehow not getting any of my good starters whatsoever, whatever the case may be, we get here. And I'm sitting here like, oh, thankfully this is a freebie, hopefully. And it's Blue Eyes. So time for the one matchup that Joey Wheeler canonically could never win.
Kaiba. I'll show this. Duel. Get ready. The spell card. Bingo machine. Go. I add the card you choose.
So with all due respect, this is a great going second hand.
Kaiba Man, the legend. I activate Kaiba Man, the legend.
You may notice, yeah, we do not play hand traps, so we just kind of have to let these combos go through. Fortunately, we have ways to get around them anyway.
I synchro summon a monster.
You can tell this guy absolutely wailed on Blue Eyes.
Watch closely. I activate Kaiba Man, the legends up.
Grabs Chaos Dragon.
You have no. I set a card. I activate my continue. I set a card face down. I end my turn. Here I go.
And if that's all, then this should be game.
Check out my. I'll bring it.
Now, in this case, I actually want a polymerization first.
Polymerization.
I want to be able to get to
Activates.
a position where essentially I can force the Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon to be negated.
Fusion summon. Red Eyes Dark. You ain't ready for this. I activate my ritual spell. Ritual summon.
The first transmigration is about to hit the field.
I activate my spell card. Red Eyes Inside. I activate Blue Eyes Spirit. I activate
Negate here?
Red Eyes Dark.
I don't know why I don't chain in response here. That's completely my fault. But you know what? We can make up for this.
Blue Eyes Jet Dragon fly at top. I activate Red Eyes Dark Dragoons and
I activate Red Eye's Dark Dragoon's effect. You ain't ready for this. I activate my
And so, one more Red Eyes transmigration for good measure.
I tribute myself. From my hand,
Although in actuality, this situation made this all work out in my favor.
Lord of the Red is using his effect. He destroys.
And since True Light was sent from field face up to graveyard, we have the Eternal Soul drawback. I am not going any further than this, because I know there's a good chance one of the last cards in his hand is Nibiru.
I activate my trap. Majesty, watch closely. Ritual summon.
Luck, don't fail me now.
So where Dragoon unfortunately has to do mutual to stop Blue Eyes Chaos Dragon from being a problem, Lord of the Red is going to pick up the slack, and that is going to cause Red Eyes Assault Mode to reach King of Games.
So this is what it feels like to be the worst duelist in the world.
Yeah.
And we got the creepy chit at the end, let's go! But anyway, I have some choice words for this build, because while yes, it is pretty fun, it is pretty cool that we can actually do Synchro stuff with Red Eyes, it's a bit of a mixed bag. On one hand, we have some pretty good toolboxes for different situations, and Excel Synchro Stardust Dragon gives us a reason to keep Black Meteor Dragon on the field, even when we're going for the polymerization play. In going for this, we can also guarantee that we have Lord of the Red for a later turn, which is really nice. We also have access to just, in general, Kaijus for board breaking. We have access to combos that are safe from at least one hand trap, ways to essentially guarantee that our entire combo is immune to Droll and Lockbird, which is really nice. But that's also kind of where everything starts to feel like... How do I put this? It's clunky. Like, realistically, if it weren't for the skill being as restrictive as it is with, like, the whole 15 Red Eyes cards, seriously, that's a little ridiculous. I'd cut this, I'd cut this, and I would cut this. For the extra deck, I'd of course play Clear Wing, so let's go ahead and get that in here just to show what I mean. And as for spells, normal, ritual related, you are Reprep. Like, I just played 2 of this, and this is much more consistent theoretically, and this is a 1-card combo. But we can't do it that way, because the skill won't let us. If it did, this build would have been a lot more consistent. A little unfortunate that we wouldn't be able to really make good use of Wrap Type, but what can you do? But even then, yeah. So, real quick, just gonna go ahead and exit without saving, so I can just talk about the actual version of the build in finality here. Overall, it's pretty fun. It's nice to actually see that we can do synchro plays with this, and I wanted to do something synchro related with Red Eyes, because you know me. But all the same, it's clunky. You either don't see your Assault Mode starters, or you don't see your Red Eyes stuff, or Lord of the Red, or whatever, and you kind of just feel like you bricked. But as long as you do get these starters, you have access to so much stuff. There really isn't much else to say about this. Like, it's simple, it's pretty fun. I will say it's not nearly as good as the Chimera build. That still feels like it does way too much, that's just me. But at the end of the day, it's not anything completely unmanageable. It can be dealt with. Annoying, but possible. As for this, yeah, I kind of don't know what else to say other than I wanted to just try this, I wanted to screw around and see what I could come up with, and, well, this is the result. So with that, that's all I really have to say, because I need a freaking break for a while. I have been burning myself out, trying to do this over here in Duel Links in both formats with King of Games, trying to do other stuff IRL, and, well, also some stuff on Speed Battle before I, you know, completely, like, dip from the scene. At least, probably for a good long while. But anyway, with that said, that's all I really can say about this. Like, there isn't much else to say about Red Eyes that hasn't already been said. So until the next video, whatever it might be, sometime in the future, I don't know when. Later, guys.